You're watching Fugitive Red Eye, and welcome to another episode of Takeshi Tuesdays. Today we'll be talking about Ryuzo and the Seven Henchmen, also known as Ryuzo 7 or Ryuzo and his Seven Henchmen. I'll be sticking to the name Ryuzo 7 for the majority of this review for simplicity's sake. Ryuzo 7 was released on April 25th, 2015, and runs for approximately 125 minutes, which roughly again translates to 2 hours and 5 minutes. Ryuzo 7 is a Yakuza movie, as a lot of Takeshi's movies are. However, it is a very different Yakuza movie than most of his movies are, because it's one of his few movies that is strictly a comedy. Ryuzo 7 is a story about a bunch of old Yakuza guys who have their turf taken over by a bunch of youngsters who don't honor the old Yakuza ways. So because of that, they decide to reform their gang, with Ryuzo as the boss, and they decide they're going to try and take back their turf. It's a very funny movie, and Takeshi is only in it for a few scenes, but he is in it. He plays a cop character named Murakami. In Ryuzo 7, all of the henchmen are interesting characters. They're all kind of senile old farts, one of which was an old kamikaze pilot, who goes nuts when he sees an American freighter out on the sea and tries to crash a plane into it. Another of which is an old, ninja-type character who was known as the Toilet Assassin. Another of which is a protester. I can't remember exactly what he's protesting, but it's pretty good. Ryuzo himself is also kind of senile, but he's probably the most together of his entire group. He's the one with the most sense. And the way they determine he's the boss is he's actually killed the most people, spent the most amount of time in prison, and overall has done the most for their group, and that's why Ryuzo is made the leader. Overall, Ryuzo 7 is a very lighthearted and comedic movie. It has a lot of dark comedy in it, too, and it's one of the few Takeshi movies that you don't feel sad at all during this entire movie. Even when the one and only character that dies, and I won't say who to avoid spoilers, it's played up for laughs, and they actually haul his dead body around in a Weekend at Bernie's fashion and just kind of bring him with them. But yeah, Ryuzo 7 is a very fun movie, and I highly recommend it if you want basically a self-parody of Takeshi's Yakuza movies, because essentially, that's what it is. They take a lot of tropes from Takeshi's Yakuza movies, but they make it much more comedic by making it a bunch of old guys who have no idea what the hell they're doing. Overall, it's a great movie, and if you haven't seen it, you're missing out. Anyway, this has been Fugitive Red Eye. Have a great rest of the day.
Mr. Hat gets a nose job.